Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers. You are watching YouTube and Facebook channels of Professor Dr. Rizwan Jamil Qureshi. Welcome to the lecture number 29 of Software Economics course. I was covering PNR curve in my last lecture, Putnam-Norden relay curve. As per the Putnam-Norden relay curve, there is a relation between effort and delivery time. That by increasing the effort, we can decrease the time, or by decreasing the effort, we can increase the time. We have discussed one example. Today I am covering second example, that we have a software Y having 45,000 lines. Estimated effort is 12% year. Productivity is 4,000 LOC per year, and number of people required for the project is 8. Calculate the time required for the project. So first task is to calculate the time and calculate the relation between effort and people if we have to deliver the project in 24 plus or minus 12 months. That means there are two scenarios. In scenario 1, we can increase the time for 24 months, and in the second scenario, we can decrease the time 12 months. So by applying Putnam-Norden relay curve, we will check that if we extend the project for 24 months, that means 2 years, what will be the effect on the effort? And if we decrease the time for 1 year, what will be the effect on effort? L is equal to 45,000, E is equal to 12% year, T we need to calculate. T is equal to 45,000 power 3 by 4 divided by 4,000 power 3 by 4 multiplied by 12 power 1 by 4. T is equal to 3.3 years. Now we have two scenarios, that if we increase the time for 24 months. 24 months mean 24 divided by 12. If we have to convert months into year, so 3.3 plus 2 equal 5.3 years. And then what is the effort? E1 we need to calculate to check if we increase the time for 2 years, what is the effect on effort if we increase the time for 2 years. Then second scenario, if we decrease the time for 12 months, 12 months mean 1 year. T2 is equal to 3.3 minus 1. So that means 2.3 years. So we need to have E1, we need to have E2. So if T1, scenario 1 is equal to 5.3 years, so what is the effort? E1 is equal to 45,000 power 3 divided by 4,000 power 3 multiplied by 5.3 power 4. That is approximately 2% year. Now we have scenario 2, if we decrease the time for 1 year. E2 is equal to 45,000 power 3 divided by 4,000 power 3 multiplied by 2.3 power 4. E2 is equal to 51% year. T1, initial effort was 12 and current effort is 2. If we increase the time for 2 years, effort is decreased 6 times. T2, initial effort was 12 and current effort is 51. That is approximately 4 times increased. Effort distribution is our next topic. Traditional rule is there to allocate the effort. We have 40-20-40 rule. 40% effort should spend on planning, analysis and design, 20% on coding, and the rest 40 is on testing, maintenance, training, deployment, security. It's just guideline. We can apply effort according to the nature of the project or according to the methodology we are following, but it's a guideline for the software companies to allocate the effort. So for example, as per the guideline, 2 to 3% on planning, 10 to 20% on analysis, 20 to 25% on design, 15 to 20% on coding, 30 to 40% on the rest of the activities, testing, maintenance, deployment, training, security. We have 40 to 50 front-end activities like customer communication, analysis, design, review, modification, and 15 to 20% on coding, 30 to 40% on testing, maintenance, deployment, training, security. 40-20-40 rule doesn't apply on safety critical projects and agile projects. What is safety critical project? Safety critical projects are those projects where human life risks are involved. For example, nuclear reactor control system, traffic control system, space shuttle system, fire alarming system, flight control system. These all are safety critical projects where we need to have very strong analysis. We need to collect all requirements in one shot and we need to freeze them. 60 to 70% effort will be spent on planning, analysis and design, and 30 to 40% on coding, testing, maintenance and rest of the activities. That is the case of safety critical projects. That 40-20-40 rule is not applicable. In case of Agile has a manifesto, and one of the values of Agile manifesto, working software over comprehensive documentation. So that means Agile development, Agile methodologies are more code centric, and we also call them test driven development. Mainly the effort will be spent on coding, testing, maintenance, and very less on the documentation. Only the required documentation will be there. That is the reason 40-20-40 rule is not applicable for Agile projects. Our next topic is defining the task set. First, we need to know the type of project. For example, it's a new or scratch based development, it's application enhancement, update, upgrade, or it's a maintenance project, or it's a re-engineering project. When you have to redevelop a software, like in my locality, there is a software company, Technosoft. Technosoft is re-engineering Java-based systems or .NET systems or Android systems into iPhone systems or C# or PHP. As per the client requirement, they are redeveloping those software. There are very few companies which are dealing in the re-engineering projects. These are few factors that affect the task set to define size of the project. It's a large, it's medium, or it's a small size project. How many number of users? It's a small company, medium company, large company, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000. How many employees they have? Like Amazon has 700,000 employees. So it's a very large company. Similarly, Microsoft, 50,000 plus team members are there. How much is the complexity of the system? What is the complexity level of application? It is highly complex, it's average complexity project, or it's a low complexity project. So according to the complexity of the project, high complexity task set will be different, average complexity task set will be different, low complexity task sets will be different. How much requirements are stable or they are changing? Like in case of stable requirements, we use waterfall methodology. It's recommended because in case of cost optimization, we use waterfall methodology. But if it is changing requirements, then we recommend Agile methodologies. And Agile methodology is suitable for speed optimization when time is critical for the software company or the customer and cost is not matter. But if you want to have cost optimization and requirements are stable, similar to previously completed project, then waterfall methodology is the most suitable. Task sets will be different according to the stability of requirements, or they are not stable, they are continuously changing. How much it's easy to communicate between the team and the customer? Like if it is outsourcing, third party software development is there, offshore company is there, then it's very difficult to communicate with the customer. If it is outsourcing or offshore companies, then customer doesn't have direct interaction with the development team. That's very difficult to have communication, then task sets will be different. In case of co-located team, we have concurrent strategy. In case of distributed teams, we have pipeline strategy. Requirements are different for the distributed teams. And if customer has multi-sites, that it is multinational company or it's distributed throughout the country, then it's difficult to communicate with all users. Then task set will be different. How much performance is critical? In case of safety critical projects, task set will be different because performance is highly critical. We need accuracy 99.99%. And case of banking system, we also need high accuracy 99.99%. According to the criticality of the application, accuracy of the application, task sets will be different. How much is the team size? It's a large team, it's a medium sized team, or it's a small team. According to the team size, task set will be different. Then you have re-engineering factors. If you are doing re-engineering, redevelopment, then you need double effort. First, you have to apply reverse engineering, like you will take code, from the code you will generate the design, from design you will generate the analysis, you will collect the requirements, then you will do the planning, then forward engineering, then forward cycle analysis, then design, then implementation in the new tool, like from Java based system to .NET system. Double effort is required, task sets will be different. Then you have different scheduling techniques. We have task set refinement, like work breakdowns, task network, Gantt chart is there, schedule tracking. So how to track the schedule? Conduct periodic project status meetings in which each team member represents the progress and the problem. Evaluate the result of all reviews conducted throughout the software engineering process. Determine whether milestones are achieved or not as per the planned schedule. Compare planned schedule versus the actual schedule, and in case if there is a difference, then you have to take the corrective action to avoid the risk. Meet informally, like walkthrough session with the team, to obtain their assessment of the progress and the problems in their domain, in their area. Use critical path modeling and earned value analysis to assess progress quantitatively. FTR is one of the review session. It's one of the verification techniques. It's a review session in which review leader presents the agenda to the team. All team members must be present. One member will act as a scriber or the secretary to take notes of the meeting. Then review members, the team members, will highlight the issues based on their homework, what they have reservations, what they have comments, because we already informed the agenda before the meeting. It's a planned meeting, planned review session, and then they can accept, they can reject, or they can recommend modifications in the agenda. They can recommend modifications on the item that is under review. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum.